In an era of men who are quite frankly pussies, you need to be different. They're lazy, they procrastinate, they're undisciplined and unmotivated, and they don't have anything going for their lives. Basically, overall, they're completely average. They are gardeners in the war of life. You need to be different. You need to be a warrior in the garden. A warrior that is prepared for conflict. A warrior that knows how to handle problems when they arise. A warrior that welcomes challenges. And the only way to achieve that is by having a strong body and a strong mind. So today I'm going to tell you how to build that body and mind to become the warrior in the garden that you seek to be. But before I start, we need to talk. I know right now you're half and half listening to me, but I need you to be conscious of everything I'm about to say in this guide. If not, you're not going to learn anything and nothing in your life is going to change. So you either make the decision to fully focus on what I'm about to teach you or just don't bother watching the video because it makes no sense to waste the next minutes if you're not going to learn anything. That being said, let's continue. Mindset. So what is the mindset of a warrior in the garden? When a lot of people think of a warrior, they think of someone who's angry, of someone who is aggressive, of someone who is a bully. But that is not the case. You don't want to be angry all the time. You don't want to be upset. You want to be kind. You should live a life of peace. Your mind should be at peace. But if problems do arise, if a confrontation starts or a challenge presents itself, you should be ready to take care of it. So how do you achieve this mental ability? There are 3 steps to achieving it. Number 1 is knowledge. Knowledge is the bridge between what you want and what you have right now. Everything you want in this life is possible. All the goals you've set for yourself, everything you want to achieve is completely possible. But you have to understand that the reason why you don't have it yet is because you lack knowledge. As soon as you let go of the excuses of saying, oh, that's not possible, oh, someone else will do it, you'll realize and accept that the only reason you don't have what you so desire yet is because you don't have the knowledge for it. And luckily for you, there's a cure to that. When you have some clear goals in your mind set for yourself, you now know what steps you have to take to achieve those goals. So if your goal is to make a lot of money, you have to learn about money. The best way to learn is to read books. Why? Because number 1, it's as old as time. There's always been books. It has been the best and most effective way to pass down knowledge from generation to generation. Number 2, when you read books, you are penetrating the mind of the authors. Those authors are people who have an immense amount of knowledge on what you want to learn. So it's basically like an indirect mentorship. So now that we know the power of reading, we need to set a goal. You must read at least 20 minutes a day, at the very least. I typically wake up in the morning and for the first hour I like to read. And also I listen to an audiobook for an hour or so before I go to sleep usually. I've been doing this recently and it has changed my life. I've learned so much more in these past few days and weeks than I learned by waking up and just scrolling on TikTok mindlessly. But I understand that a lot of you don't want to read for an hour a day. A lot of you find it boring and never made a habit of reading when you were younger. So the best way you can start is by reading 20 minutes. You take a topic that you like and that you want to learn and you start reading about it. It's very simple. Since you are hungry for knowledge, because you want to know everything there is about your specific goal, you must also watch videos and content on it, which you're doing right now. So that's a really good start. But make sure that when you watch the videos, you're not watching them mindlessly. Actually try to take notes, try to learn something from each video. And once you finish the video or the content that you just consumed, try and think about exactly what you just learned. This is the way for things to get stuck in your mind. It's better to watch this video twice or 3 times until you fully understand it than to go on to watch 10 videos and not understand any of them. And one of the best ways to learn anything that you want to learn is to surround yourself with people who already know about that subject. If you want to learn about how to become a better fighter, you surround yourself with world champions. If you want to learn how to become a millionaire, you surround yourself with millionaires. Everything you want to learn has already been learned, practiced, and mastered by other people. So all you need to do is find those people and start being influenced by them. Start getting in their company. Find a way to network with them. Provide some value to them so they can provide value to you. Because when you hang around people who have knowledge, you start taking that knowledge in through something called osmosis. Osmosis learning basically means that by being surrounded constantly by people who are teaching you things either subconsciously or consciously, you start implementing them in your mind and in your life. This is a very powerful way to gain knowledge. The next step to having the mind of a warrior in the garden is conditioning. Society has conditioned us to have weak minds. Minds that believe whatever they're told. Minds that have no certain values. This is the reason why motivation is so popular now. Motivation is a feeling, it's an emotion. You know, at 3 a.m. when you suddenly want to change your life and you're willing to do anything it takes, but it only lasts about an hour, right? Discipline is doing things when you don't want to do them. And what I constantly preach here, fuck motivation, stick to discipline. You need to train your discipline. And the only way to train this is to do hard things. See, unlike motivation, where you can watch a few motivational videos and feel pumped up, discipline is something that you have inside you. It doesn't come externally. You build it inside you. So to build this, you must train your mind with rigorous tasks. Number one, you must do things that you don't want to do. If you hate running, go on long runs. If you hate training and feeling tired, train rigorously. I personally hate weightlifting. So I've started to weightlift 5 times a week because I know that number one, it's going to help my body and my performance massively. And number two, it's going to train my mind to do things that I know I don't want to do but are good for me. There are also other forms of intense mental training like meditation. I personally also do sparring. Sparring is basically a simulation of fighting, and it can be scary at times, especially against people that are better than you. But you must learn how to control that fear. You must control your mind instead of letting it control you. So condition your mind with the advice I've given you. Take action on it. The third step to having a capable mind is knowing about fear. All the superheroes we looked up to when we were younger, like Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, they all felt fear. Don't get it wrong. A brave man isn't one who doesn't feel fear, because whoever tells you that they've never been scared is lying. A courageous man is one who feels fear, and instead of letting fear control him, he masters his emotions, he masters that fear, and does the action anyways. Because every man, every warrior, and every king has felt fear sometime in their life. It is impossible to eliminate fear. I've talked with a former 2 times world champion boxer, and he's told me that every single fucking time before his fights, he would always get scared. He would always feel fear. It would never leave. He's been fighting since he was probably 10 or 11, but that fear never left, no matter how many times he did it. The only thing that made him a world champion is that he stepped in that damn ring, and he did things even though he felt fear. So this is a message personally to you. It's okay to feel fear. I feel fear. Every man feels fear. What's not okay is to let it control you. When you feel fear, it's an opportunity, not a threat. It's an opportunity to prove to yourself and to your mind that you can act upon fear. You can act while being scared. That is what builds courage. Once you have mastered these 3 aspects of the mindset of a warrior in a garden, we'll go on to how to train your body. So the body is important because it's the vessel through which we express our actions. Think of a race. If you're in a race and you want to win, you don't drive a Honda Civic. You drive a fast car. You drive a fucking Ferrari. You drive a McLaren. You drive a Bugatti. It's the same thing with life. Life is a race and you need to win. So you need to build a vessel that is capable of winning. You need to build a vessel that will help you achieve all of those goals you have. I've divided the concept of body in 4 sections. The first one is physique. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. Socrates. Socrates lived in 469 before Christ, thousands of years ago, and even he knew that it is extremely important to shape your body. So I want you to take an actionable step right now. Look at your body. Go in the mirror, get undressed, and look at your body. Is it a body you're proud of? Is it a testament to your hard work and your discipline? Or is it a body that you don't want to show? Is it a body that you're ashamed of? Does it complete all the functions you ask of it? Does this body make you proud? If any of those questions are no, you need to train. As we said before, the reason why you haven't achieved a specific goal isn't because it's impossible, it's because your lack of knowledge. So if you're trying to tell yourself right now that the reason you look like this is because you don't know what to do in the gym, or you don't know what exercises to do, accept that you don't know and learn. On YouTube, there are thousands of videos on how to get in shape. The only reason you aren't in shape right now is because you haven't taken action. So take action right now and start going to the gym. Start getting in shape. Do calisthenics. Do anything to be proud of your body. Strength. Men have been characterized by strength for as long as human time. If I ask you to describe a man, one of the first adjectives you will think of is strong. Strong physically, strong mentally, strong emotionally. So I'm not saying you need to be a power lifter and lift super heavy. I'm saying that you need to train to be strong. You need to at least be able to help your mom with that heavy box, help your girlfriend or a girl walking on the street with her groceries. You need to be able to help other men if you guys are building something. You can't be weak and fragile. Now listen, bro, I don't have the biggest biceps. I'm not huge, but I assure you that I do have a decent level of strength. I used to be a skinny twig. I wouldn't be able to lift even the bar on bench press. Fast forward a few years later, I'm consistently hitting the gym, I'm learning martial arts, and I'm prouder of my body than I've ever been. And having that strength, knowing that you can push heavy objects, just makes your confidence go up. It might be bro science, it might be because men are stupid, but having strength makes you feel better, and it makes you perform better in every area of life. I want you to train to at least be above average in strength. And by the way, that's not very hard right now because most men can barely do 10 push-ups. So start off with that. Mobility. This is a topic that I don't see anybody in self-improvement talking about, especially when it comes to fitness. Mobility is being able to tell your body how to move. If you don't have mobility, you don't have control. This is something I've recently started to learn when I started martial arts. I realized that there were some movements that I physically couldn't do. And no matter how bad I tried to do them, I was frustrated at the fact that my body doesn't allow me to. So it doesn't matter how strong you are if you can't put it to use. All these bodybuilders you see, sure, they may be strong, but are they mobile? Can they move their bodies the way they want? Or are they constricted to the movements that the weights have showed them? You'd be surprised how many movements you find difficult due to your lack of mobility and flexibility. So as you need to control your mind, you also need to learn to control your body. So you need to be mobile and flexible. Now, once again, I can't do a split yet, but I'm learning to be more mobile and flexible. I'm stretching more. And this has changed my game in martial arts big time. Speaking of which, we have the third step to achieving a good body, which is combat. The cruel reality of the world is that, like it or not, there's violence, especially with men. We all have the underlying sense of violence to protect ourselves and the people we love. But if you lack in this sense, if you don't know how to protect yourself, then your confidence goes down and you feel like less of a man. Every man should have at least a simple understanding of how to defend themselves. And a lot of you in the comments will say, oh yeah, but fighting isn't going to stop a 40 cal or isn't going to stop a gun. And by all means, you should also learn how to handle firearms. I'm 17 right now, so I can't do that yet. But rest assured that as soon as I can, I will also start learning. The point of all this is not to be aggressive. It's not to be a bully. It's not to prey on people. It's to be prepared. It's to be a warrior in a garden and not a gardener in a war. You need to train rigorously to become a human weapon. Because let's say you're on the street and a man tries to rob your woman's purse. Are you just going to let that happen? Will you be a coward and let them get away with it? Because the reality is that you're not a coward. You just don't know how to defend yourself. So since I personally know how much learning to fight has changed my life, and I know how much it would change your life, I'm working on an instructional right now that will teach you the basics of fighting, just so you can get started in this journey to become a warrior in the garden. Let me know down in the comments if you're interested in that. Lastly, I'd like to break the fourth wall. Like, actually listen to me. This is a problem that I had until very, very recently. You watch the video, you watch 10 other videos, and you don't listen to it. You think you listen to it, you just hear it, but you don't listen to it and take action. I know it sounds like I'm being annoying because I told you at the start of this video, but if you've made it this far, I congratulate you, because 99.9% of people don't have the attention span to make it this far. However, if you had the attention span to make it this far, but you don't have the discipline to put it into action, it's not going to serve you of anything. It's going to be a waste of time. And the last thing I want to do is to waste your time. So please, 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 look back in the video if you have to. I hope you took notes or something, and start implementing these actions. And I promise you it will change your life, bro. Anyways, see you, bro.